In this video, I'm going to be telling you how you can solo 5-star raids in Pokemon Go. And let me get this out of the way. No, you cannot solo every single 5-star raid, but there are quite a few where you are able to solo them. You just need to know what the right conditions are and have the right setup. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. Alright, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula, here with a brand new Pokemon Go guide video for you. Today we're going to be talking about soloing 5-star raids. Now, this is of course the dream for every Pokemon Go player, the capability to be able to solo any single raid in Pokemon Go. That way you do not have to rely on other players and you could just go and raid on a whim. And this is something that is possible for a couple of 5-star raid bosses. Now, like I mentioned at the top of this video, this is not possible for every single 5-star raid, but given the current state of Pokemon Go, there are quite a few Pokemon that you can solo in 5-star raids. So among all the 5-star raids, what are some that you are able to solo? Well, based on my own experiences, I've been able to solo Moltres, Rayquaza, Guzzlord, Kartana, Virizion, Genesect, and more recently, Buzzwole. All these Pokemon can very easily be soloed, mainly because they all have a double weakness to one type. Why is that significant? Well, if a Pokemon has a double weakness to a particular type, they're going to be taking close to triple the amount of damage from that type. That means every single one of your Pokemon is going to deal triple damage. Think of it as you're doing 3 persons worth of damage with just your Pokemon. So that means for a Pokemon like Mamoswine with Ice type attacks, all of those Ice type attacks are going to deal triple damage against a Pokemon like Rayquaza. That is how you can actually solo most of these raid bosses. Now, what's the other key element? Well, you need to make sure a lot of those Pokemon are fully maxed out with XXL candies. That is going to be imperative, and it's what's going to allow you to solo a lot of these raid bosses. Ever since the level cap was increased by 10 levels, it allowed for a lot of these raid bosses to finally be soloed. Just talking about Rayquaza as another example, if you have a whole bunch of Mamoswine and Shadow Mamoswine that are fully maxed out with Ice type attacks, you're going to be able to defeat any Rayquaza very easily. Now, what is the other thing that you need in order to solo 5-star raid bosses? Well, of course, it's going to be Mega Evolutions. Ever since Mega Evolutions were released, they completely changed the power scaling in Pokemon Go. When it comes to 5-star raid bosses, if you have a Mega Evolution in your party, you basically have an easy mode button when it comes to that raid. Let's talk about the most recent Pokemon I was able to solo in 5-star raids, Buzzwole. Ever since we got Mega Rayquaza, that boss became incredibly easy because with Dragon Ascent, that Pokemon deals an insane amount of damage against Buzzwole. In a lot of cases, I can solo it completely with just one Pokemon, and that is Mega Rayquaza. And if I'm able to dodge it enough, I could defeat it with a lot of time to spare. That's just how powerful Mega Evolutions can be. So yeah, XXL Pokemon and Mega Evolutions, those are the 2 key elements for soloing a bunch of 5-star raid bosses. But you will also want to pay attention to a lot of other bonuses, like for example weather boosts as well as friendship bonuses. This is something that a lot of players have actually tried out when it comes to soloing raid bosses, but they would have a best friend in the party with them, have that player not have any Pokemon on their team so that they are not able to join the raid. You will still get the friendship bonus from that friend, but you will not actually have that friend in the raid, so you're essentially soloing the raid boss. I know that's technically not soloing a raid boss, but that is a strategy that some players have employed for soloing different 5-star raids. So yeah, if you want to start soloing 5-star raid bosses in the year 2024 and beyond, then what you will need to do is research what raid bosses have a double weakness, and then start powering up the best of the best Pokemon of those types so that you could use them to solo these raid bosses. And don't forget to invest into Mega Evolutions. If you are not collecting Mega Energy for pretty much every single Mega Evolution that is currently available, then you really need to start doing that, because Mega Evolutions are really be the key to soloing a lot of these raid bosses. Pretty much anytime any of these raid bosses do come out, you'll be able to solo them, you'll be able to farm up rare candies and rare candy XL, a whole bunch of experience, as well as Stardust and candies for that Pokemon. It's definitely going to be something you will want to utilize whenever you can. So anytime a soloable raid boss comes out, make sure you power up all of the counters for that raid boss and start soloing those raid bosses, because that is how you can get really far ahead in Pokemon Go without having to require other players to play with you. Now, something that I completely failed to mention throughout the entirety of this video is that all of this is extremely advanced gameplay. So if you are a casual player who just started playing this game, then soloing 5-star raid bosses, no matter what raid boss that is going to be a bit out of reach. But this is a very good goal to have for yourself if you are a newer player. Make sure you're doing a lot of research on 5-star raids, because occasionally you may come across a raid boss that you might be able to take down solo, or at least with the help of 1 or 2 other players. You just need to make sure you're constantly powering up all of your Pokemon that are considered meta relevant, and the most important thing is you just need to learn what type weaknesses are and how you could best utilize all the Pokemon in your collection. And yeah, I'm pretty sure in the future there's going to be better counters and better Pokemon that will continuously be released, so a lot more raid bosses are going to be soloable in the future. So that's something you should keep in mind as you play Pokemon Go. The list of soloable 5-star raid bosses is only going to get higher and higher. So make sure you keep a lookout for what Pokemon are coming out, and make sure you farm up all the Pokemon that you need to farm up so that you invest in the right counters for a lot of these raid bosses. Yeah, soloing 5-star raid bosses is a lot easier than it may seem, and it is now possible, whereas several years ago it was not. So make sure you utilize all the Pokemon correctly, invest in your Mega Evolutions, and start farming up those raid bosses, because yeah, you're definitely going to get really far ahead in Pokemon Go. But yeah, that's going to be it for this raid guide video. I really hope you found this to be helpful. If you were someone that wanted to start soloing 5-star raid bosses and found this video to be helpful, make sure you comment down below what raid bosses you actually were able to solo after watching this video. Currently in the Americas at the time that I recorded this video, Buzzwole is in 5-star raids, and that Pokemon can be soloed very easily with a Mega Rayquaza. So I would like to know if anyone has had success with that solo, and if you did, make sure you say so down below. And thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you ended up enjoying it and found it to be informative, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Now I want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. And if you want to support my channel without spending any money, you could always do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula, and I'm on the platforms that you see on your screen. Alright, and that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.